Trent stood at the edge of the rip, stared into the illimitable gulf of the unknown, the Stygian world yawning blackly beyond. Trent's eyes refused to close. He did not shriek, but the hideous, unholy abominations shrieked for him, as in the same second he saw them spill and tumble upward out of an enormous carrion black pit, choked with the gleaming white bones of countless unhallowed centuries. He began to back away from the rip as the army of unspeakable figures, twilit by the glow from the bottomless pit, came pouring at him toward our world.
Welcome to the Iron Seas, everybody. We got a book club review for H.P. Lovecraft's The Call of Cthulhu. We got Captain Kahuna and a guest, Bill McCouston, Wilder 369, Mr. Armstrong, codename Armstrong.
You said 369. It's definitely
yes.
96.
And of course, we got Howard with us. How you doing, Howard? I'm doing good, guys. I'm doing good. And Lulu. Lulu will be weighing in on some things. And of course, Vilgax. How you doing, Vilgax? Doing all right, guys. All right, so let's get at it. How you guys doing today?
Just fine. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing
all right. I would like to point out it is McCouston.
McCouston.
So not McCuistan.
No.
Okay, just checking.
This is absolutely something I have not missed from my high school days, are people getting my surname wrong. Mostly teachers.
Yeah. The kids were like, we don't care what your last name is. It's like, oh, thank you.
They get mine wrong too, because my family always pronounces it like it's as if it's spelled E-R-D, Pritchard, but everybody's like Pritchard, Andrew Pritchard. But anyway,
people get my name wrong.
Oh yeah, Magrum.
I figured
Magrum.
Kahuna would be easy to get.
Yeah, Kahuna's pretty straightforward. Yeah,
easy actually. No, I've heard Margum, Magnum, Magrum, Magarum, like M-A-G-A rum.
Mm-hmm.
Like you see how it's spelled, Mike.
And if you're at Comic-Con, it's Meganium. So anyway, Call of Cthulhu. Do you guys hear the call? Do you hear it? Do you feel it deep in your bones?
It kind of blends in with the other, schizophrenic voices in my head. So yeah, it's just another one of those.
Can you feel it, Captain Compost?
Let's load up the chat here. Boom. There's the chat box. Get the banners going. You guys know the whole spiel. Go ahead.
Hey, Brian. Hey, animation. I like your alternate Mag Muffin.
Mag Muffin.
Thank you for that. Magrum the crime. Kahuna. Yeah, that's about right. Actually, I tried to be good. Most of my rule breaking was accidental. Like the time I sat on a table and they thought you did that on purpose. I'm like, I did sit on the table on purpose. I did not break it on purpose. Mag Muffin.
Magrum the crime Kahuna. I like that character. I like it. Okay, so
who is he? Doesn't matter. His existence. A crime.
A crime. As he investigates crime. He takes him. Anyway. What a joy with this one this week. It was a quick one. Short story king.
Very short story. That's why I'm like, we can do this last minute. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
We got Billy Backside McCuiston here.
Yes, sir.
He didn't say anything. I wanted to react.
That was the perfect reaction.
This last name. So this is the archaic spelling of my last name. I say archaic, but I'm sure some Scottish a-holes over in Scotland are still using it. But I got it so often with people just butchering the last name, either jokingly or just genuinely getting it wrong, that it's just, yeah, okay, this is to be expected at this point.
Well, I also said
I'm
Billy
literally just
McCuiston, and you didn't say a word about that.
Hey, at least
Sometimes
you're
I
not.
feel like Billy.
At least you're not pretard.
And obviously, Billy is short. Billy is the extension of the short name, but Billy is also short for Bilious.
Well, since Chrisman's not here, Billy. I'll say it for him. Billy.
Actually, Bill, how do you like to be called? I'm just fucking with you right now, but how do you like to be called?
Ooh.
Bill.
Hey, Howard is in the chat.
It's my pseudonym. Pseudonym. I literally just went with what I wanted to be called. I was like, Bill. That's basic. That's all American.
Bill.
USA.
USA. All right.
Your name's got your regular name's like 18 syllables long. One of those like.
No, my actual first name is pretty basic bitch too. So I went from basic to basic.
I don't feel like being a Brian. Wait, sorry, Brian.
Okay.
I didn't mean that at all.
It's okay with the spelling of the last name that I've chosen. I can't be doxxed. That is the original version of my actual last name, but you can't dox me. You know how many families branched off of this clan? Like it's
you should start a family tree. Used to be a palm tree, and then suddenly branched out.
Next thing you know, it's as overarching as the entire fucking rainforest.
Why are the roots connected to the upper branches? Anyway, no.
We don't ask questions we don't want to know the answers to.
This is true.
Which is a great segue.
Speaking of inbreeding.
Yes. The king of those types of
Are you
stories.
Are you going to say incest?
No, I was going to say the inbreeding stories, but
I mean,
hey,
you can't have one without the other.
Right.
This is true.
Right, this is facts.
Not with that attitude.
Shout outs to the deep ones, Anyway.
They are the deepest ones.
I can't wait. Speaking of the deep ones, I can't wait to get to them. I think this is more of an old one, right? This is an old one, Mythos, the call.
Did you not read it?
I did. I'm just
okay.
Covering.
Oh, Andrew joined just in time for incest, but he's from Australia. They know all about that. It's okay.
Yes.
And watch him correct me. He's going to type. Actually, he's going to tell us exactly where, because every place has incest and a place known for it. Alabama in the U.S., even though it's not true. Actually, my state is
criminals. I'm not exactly expecting them to have high morals.
Right. But we live. What's that again?
What?
What'd you say?
I said, hello, sister, auntie, grandma.
Kahuna. We live on a placid island of ignorance in the midst of black seas of infinity, and it was not meant that we should voyage far. So let us voyage far into the realm of where this famous Lovecraft quote originates from, the Call of Cthulhu. I will be right back. You guys launch it off here.
All right. Billy, when did you first read H.P. Lovecraft, and was Call of Cthulhu your first?
Call of Cthulhu was not my first. My first Lovecraft story was The Nameless City.
Oh, that's a good choice.
Yeah, and actually, there goes. I'm just going to throw that bookmark off to the side. It's actually the first one in this volume that I've got here.
Oh yeah, you got the little.
Yeah, I have the complete Lovecraft, and it's these little pocket books.
No, I almost got those, but then I discovered these, and I really like these. I got 3 of them.
Mountains of fancy artwork.
Yeah. I got at the Mountains of Madness. What was it? I have Call of Cthulhu, and then the Beast. The Beast. What is it called? Can't remember. But it's good. Behringer does the artwork, and he's fantastic. He's like about my dad's age, and the guy's insane.
But yeah, first one I read was The Nameless City. The first sentence, and I would say I am going to bring this up because his style is just one of those unique styles.
Yeah, it's a little Tolkien-ish in its descriptions and so in certain turns of phrase.
But with this one line, I was sold and knew that I had to read all of it at some point. When I drew nigh the nameless city, I knew it was accursed.
That's a great line.
And then couple stories later, I read Color Out of Space, and that's when I was really sold, because that was like grade A pulp horror science fiction right there, and I loved everything about it.
Color Out of
The fact that
Space.
the family went
That
insane.
was a weird one. I liked that one. There's a few others too, and like even there's a collection of short stories based on H.P. Lovecraft stories, and some of those are actually pretty worthy as well to be part of the the zeitgeist, so to say. You boys ever been fish manhunt? You guys ever been forcefully horizontally copulated with by fish?
You guys ever been struggle snuggled by fish?
Struggle. That would still get me. You ever hear what that sounds like? Oh, have you guys seen the Nick Cage movie of The Color Out of Space? I want to see it. I have not seen it. Have you seen The Color Out of Space?
I have, and I actually really liked it. They added a wrinkle to the color
to do that.
They added something to the color where it also affects time, or has this bizarre effect on time, which I think was a nice addition with how they.
Yeah, it's not too far out of line for how it affects everything. So,
and it also makes sense since this is a creature that can also traverse space. It would make sense that you might also want it to have an effect on time, as otherwise it's spending millions of years, billions of years in just a cold vacuum.
Yeah. No, but for those who haven't seen it, probably won't be able to see it. Oh, actually, because of how nice my camera is, it comes out pretty good. But like the art for this entire book is just like detailed. You could zoom in, and it's bangers all the way through. Some are a little more simple. Like this is fairly simple, but still nice kind of landscape.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, everything from an old man walking down a street to a kid having a nightmare, and because that's a fun part of the story too, is that all of these cases, like he starts investigating, and the more he looks into it, he's like, why are all of these people having the same dream at the same time, or similar dreams at the same time, all across different spaces? And then like some of them like off themselves, and then others like suddenly were just completely kind of like came out of it and they were fine mostly.
And then you have the others that are suspicious deaths, probably by the cult members.
The artwork makes it not suspicious at all. It's like they don't know what happened to him. You see the shadow of a guy with a knife behind him, or you see these creepy. I'll find it. It's pretty good, dude. It's pretty funny. Because of course, like the mystery is fun, but we all kind of assume the worst in these kind of stories, don't we?
Well, yeah, it's Lovecraft. It's always going to be the worst.
Yeah,
the happy ending is when the main character dies and doesn't have to suffer through insanity anymore.
He dies, and that's all that happens to him. That's a happy ending in a Lovecraft story. But like, let's see.
I just heard a noise. I think one of the cats is up to something stupid.
Oh yeah, like here. It's like he died suddenly. There's two guys in the background. You can't tell, but like their eyes are all creepy too. It's like we don't know what happened to him.
It's suspicious. Who could have foreseen this tragic accident? As dude's just sitting there with a.
So those two guys are flopping down the street.
We
don't know what happened.
Yeah.
Oh, but yeah, no. How many Lovecraft movie adaptations have there been? I know there's some like unofficial ones, like they're.
We don't know what happened to him.
Actually, there's exactly that. There's a shadow of a guy with a knife behind. He's like, I fear I will not survive very long. And then you see the shadow. I'm like, why is his knife raised? He's not behind him yet. Like it's a shadow from outside, meaning he's not in the room yet. Oh,
so there are a lot of things either inspired by or based off of Lovecraft's work. I've actually got one sitting next to me. I've actually got two sitting next to me, both adaptations of Call of Cthulhu.
I didn't know there were any adaptations.
A movie.
Is it
produced? Good? I thought so. It was produced by the H.P. Lovecraft Historical Society, and it was done in the style of a silent film.
That could work really well, actually, in this case.
They did another movie That was an adaptation of The Whisperer in the Darkness. That was not done as a silent movie, but still done in sort of a retro style, so it looks like it could have come out in the 1930s. And that one was also really good. And then they also do these.
Ooh,
Radio.
little audios.
Yep. Radio drama adaptations. They've got this
Radio
new-
dramas could be really cool. Actually, it's a really good kind of story. They're short enough you could do it. The sounds aren't so complicated that it's impossible. That could really be a good way to go.
Yeah, they've got a ton of these. They've got a ton of these, and they are absolutely fun. Every single one that I've listened to has just been fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, I gotta text my sister real quick. She took my kids to go see a movie here, so
That's okay, I'll cover. Incomprehensible Madness. Oh wait, crap, that doesn't really narrow it down with Lovecraft.
well, here's one. What do you prefer the horror of H.P. Lovecraft or the horror of Robert E. Howard? Because they were friends and they were both very complimentary of each other's work.
So I have not read any Robert E. Howard. I do have his Conan, Solomon Kane, and Cull. There's another one. There's another one. I can't remember what it's called, but
There's a few.
4 of his things on my to-read list. The problem is I have so much on my to-read list.
It's a lot, dude. I got the first volume of Akira. I'm going to be reading that here soon. I've never seen it and I've never read it.
But Lovecraft. So in this volume that I have, right after Call of Cthulhu is the history of the Necronomicon.
Yeah.
Lovecraft just name drops R.W. Chambers and his work, The King in Yellow.
Yeah.
As part of the history of the Necronomicon. And yeah, I went through that, read that as well, and I was like, this gives me the same vibes as Tolkien and Lewis referencing each other in their works.
Yep. And it, like, for Lovecraft, it was that men would encounter the darkest evil and the most depraved, unimaginable dealios, and then they would disappear. But men would, when they encountered that, would go insane or die or worship it in some sort of dark ritual, usually. With Robert E. Howard, his characters would encounter the similar evil, if not the same evil. But at least 1 or 2 characters in every story of his would stand up to fight that darkness, and that's why I like Robert E. Howard's horror a little bit more. They're like, and some of them are just fun. Like, one of them's not even really horror because it's almost comedy. It's like this farmer and his Mexican buddy are down in South Texas, and they uncover this grave of a conquistador that was a ancient vampire, and the vampire's like, you can't possibly, you will worship me. I will rule this world, and I've been asleep for hundreds of years. And the farmer literally just fist fights him until the sun comes up. He just goes fisticuffs on him the entire night.
Chat music starts playing in the background.
The song "You Say Run" from My Hero comes up. No, dude, it's good. It's good. But yeah, for this story, it has this back and forth effect. Because the guy obviously at first is curious, but he's not convinced of anything weird at first.
Yeah, for the first, I'd say half, there's this strong, no, I'm being skeptical. I'm not buying any of this. This artist was obviously preying on my grandfather or great uncle who was old. So this is kind of predatory. This guy's a raging D-bag. And then by the end, he's like, oh, no, this guy wasn't a raging D-bag. This is...
In fact, I'm worried for my own life because all these other people have disappeared or gone insane and are not doing well. I fear I am not long for this world.
I'm going to die.
I am not... Mr. Stark, I don't feel so good.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and that's kind of establishing the tone that we should be kind of thinking about it's a little bit of foreshadowing, right? Because Lovecraft stories don't necessarily typically end well for the characters, right?
But also
No.
consider when this was written. It's the 1930s. The world is much smaller than it once was by the 1930s. But there's a lot people still don't know. There are still places filled with mystery, like the Congo and the Amazon, and these the North and South Poles. These areas of the world to this day that still have mystery, but were much more mysterious back then. And so the idea that there were these, like, despite all the scientific advancement and medical and like vast sum of human knowledge, that there was still so much more that we did not understand, plays a lot into the fear that a story like this can evoke.
Yeah.
And this idea that there's an island out there, it wasn't there before, and these sailors stumbled upon it, and the angles didn't make sense. And I love that aspect of it's not something that would be very, it would be very hard to visually portray, but in the context of your imagination in a book, it works really, really well.
Okay, so if Lovecraft's writing was a style of fighting, like that would be like a little jab, right? Like he just tosses these little descriptors in there, and then keeps going, like nothing ever happened. So it's like, its face is indescribable, but like he uses like nuanced, like deep language, like a better word than just indescribable. Sometimes he literally does say the word like indescribable, because it's usually from somebody's perspective. But it's kind of interesting how he'll just kind of like walk by and then like kind of like smack you and then keep walking with that little like that little detail. I don't know. It's fascinating.
Yeah. Well, and I made the comment in the Discord that, and Kahuna, you mentioned it as well. There are times where his descriptions are pretty much on par with Tolkien with how deep they are. The one that comes to mind is Dream Quest of Unknown Kadaf.
Yeah.
Where the entire opening is this in-depth description of the Sunset City. And it is so detailed. When I first read that story, I'm like, okay, are you going to get to the plot anytime soon?
I can see it. This is a wonderful city, big, beautiful city. We're going to talk about it for a while. I like talking about it.
Speaking of descriptors, get a load of that Cthulhu description, right? Holy crap. Like it had a way of being simple but detailed at the same time. Like he was listing a lot of simple details because, again, from the character's perspective. So it's like the guy is like, oh, it had a face of tentacles and it was mixed.
There were monstrous wings, but like nothing scale-wise made sense. It was too big to really comprehend. And but I think talking about that, like, it works really well. It's a very good description. But it only works because of the buildup of this story. Because it's, again, like Bill and I were talking about, he starts off very skeptical, but then he starts learning more about it, and all these experts are like, this is like the oldest statue we've ever found of anything ever. And we can't, like, these markings are not anything that we've ever seen before, or it's like, yeah. And then it's like, where did we find it? Well, there was this cult out in the jungle, and they were having a fun naked death party, and we had to go in there and stop it with guns.
Well, right, because what's driving the plot is the character finds papers. Yeah, he finds like papers. So it's kind of like two point of views in a way, right? Oh, this is actually really clever, right? Because it's like point of view of the investigator, the main character, and then he's reading like journal entries, basically.
Like from the sailors as well, and testimony and things of that nature. This is written back when epistolary fiction was not as was much more common.
Yeah,
and it can be effective for certain things. It's like that like Dracula and my favorite classic book of all time, Frankenstein, both utilize that as well. Like there's letters, like, because it's like, oh, if it's third person, you don't want to be too close to them. You want to be able to set back. But then it's like, but then you can cheat with a letter, because a letter is nothing but personal.
Well, and then even with the opening, right? On top of all that, I love epistolary. I'm a huge fan of it. And like I said, I think it's exceedingly clever to do like character, and then you can jump around the world and in different other perspectives through epistolary. It's very clever. I think that should be a format that stays strong over the years, in my opinion. But like even the opening, setting the tone by delivering the cosmic horror through an internal monologue of a character, the character musing on human ignorance and stuff like that. So I also think that's a very clever delivery device for that, like just like setting the tone by just somebody musing on it, because then you can like get really descriptive and like psychedelic with your language without anything crazy actually happening. It's just somebody thinking. And if they're musing about like human ignorance and stuff like that, and then talking about, oh, it could lead to like a new dark age, like they're doing, that doesn't that kind of also foreshadow not only what happens, but it also kind of signals to us that this person has already heard the call by this point? Because if they're already kind of thinking about like apocalypse,
Well, like the language also sets up the bigger stuff right away. While the story seems small, it's just basically one guy investigating, like looking into people who have gone crazy, and his what was his grandfather's research.
Uncle.
That's right. It was uncle. I
Yeah.
But like for one of our first lines, we live in a placid island of ignorance in the midst of black seas of infinity.
Oh, so good.
And
it's one of his famous ones.
Meant that we should travel far.
Yeah, that's the best part. Yeah.
Then it acknowledges the sciences, and then the science people look into it and they see the horror in clay. And
and that whole bit also really, I think, encapsulates that part of Lovecraftian horror where it's you essentially dig too deep into an investigation or into the sciences, and you find something that we are not meant to know. We are physically incapable of surviving with that knowledge. Exactly.
And this is where Lovecraft delivers his themes of like hubris and arrogance and stuff like this. Whereas like Lord of the Rings, you know, something like that might be doing something like, oh, and you know, the man just coveted the ring so much they decided to keep it instead of throwing it into the mountain. That's where like Tolkien will showcase their like hubris and stuff like that. And I just think it's interesting how Lovecraft is like delivering it in just as powerful a way, but different in the fact of like just like knowledge.
It was from the artists and poets that the pertinent answers came. I know that panic would have broken loose had they been able to compare notes. As it was, lacking their original letters, I half suspected. Anyway, but no, yeah, I love that it was the artists who were drawing and like creating sculptures of like the same thing. And it's like the artists already used to kind of abstract thinking. I think that's why they were able to be more coherent as well with the call and the visions that they saw.
This kind of ties in a little bit. Oh, can you hear me? Okay, my camera just died, I guess. I'll fix that in a second. But this kind of ties in with like those telepathy tapes I mentioned on prior stream, for example. It turns out, and this is a recurring theme across a lot of like spiritual aspects. Music is kind of one of those, and like music and art and, you know, painting and stuff like that is one of those avenues.
That guy, he's not having a good time, man.
I know that's rough.
That's rough, buddy.
Yeah. It seems to be one of those avenues that like spiritualism creeps into the real world and uses people as that vehicle to do so. Like the Akashic record seems to present itself more strongly through like music, art. Like it seems to go to these people, I wouldn't say first, but they get like almost like a very clear image in their mind, or they have like the tools to convey it right away, kind of thing. So I appreciated that aspect of having him have like the sculptors and the artists kind of having the first whispers of a lot of this stuff. And furthermore, it kind of reminded me of Dead Space. So for fans of Dead Space out there, you might want to, I mean, it's already well known that like Dead Space is very Lovecraftian, but if you ever wanted to dive into like something resembling some sort of Dead Space novel, you just pick up any Lovecraft. You know, it kind of seals the deal with this one. Just that little detail, because that's one of the first things that happens in Dead Space is people start like drawing weird shit on the wall, like, and then eventually drawing shit on the wall in like blood and stuff like that, and it just gets worse and worse. And it starts off very Lovecraftian and creeps in like that. You know what I mean? Anyway, I'm gonna fix my thing. I'll be right back.
And then the professor talking to all of the gathered like experts and scientists as well, explaining how they got the thing from this devilish cult
And their
Or was
voodoo orgy.
Yeah, pretty much. And had encountered a singular tribe or cult of degenerate Esquimaux, whose religion, a curious form
Eskimo.
of... Oh,
Yeah, that's so my copy actually spells it like Eskimo,
okay. Yeah,
but
this does not.
that is Eskimo. I think that's supposed to be like the French spelling of the word. Because that's
Okay.
another thing Lovecraft would do is he would use archaic spellings, foreign spellings like Muslim.
Yeah,
in
sometimes.
Call of Cthulhu was spelled Moslem.
Yeah.
Hindu in my copy of Through the Gate of the Silver Key, I believe it was like Hindoo. And you see these weird spellings, and it's like, okay.
It adds to the creepiness for sure. It chilled him with its deliberate bloodthirstiness and repulsiveness.
Yep. And so he has a way of that. See, do you see what I mean? How that's like a very simple description yet detailed. It's like simple and detailed. So it's like this filled him with, he's using simple language in a way, but like the way he delivers it. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, also the language that isn't like obviously English. It's like what they're chanting something in an ancient language.
Right. Yeah.
Well, and even just the line of this is the closest we could get to what they were saying.
In the house, that's
a good detail.
That's really dead Cthulhu waits dreaming.
Yes, he waits dreaming.
Dead it's like Cthulhu this horrifying like the thing we worship. It's dreaming.
Yeah,
I don't like it.
It's just dreaming. That means it's just asleep. Yeah.
And actually, this is something that does kind of stand out to me because I've read a bit more of Lovecraft's stuff. This, what's the word I'm looking for?
That one word.
That one word.
Yes.
That wordy word of meaning and definitions.
Actually, sorry, Andrew. It was not spelled either of those ways. It was spelled an entirely ridiculous way. Like, let me find this shit. Hold on.
But there's a sense of sort of victory at the end, at least when I was reading it, because the boat captain was able to push, or no, it wasn't the captain, it was one of the crewmen, was able to
deckhands,
drive the boat into Cthulhu, drove him back into the city right as it sank back into the depths. And it's like, well, yeah, you kind of went insane and were murdered later on, but I mean, you got a victory for everybody there, buddy. At least for the time being, because it's made abundantly clear that Cthulhu isn't dead.
Yeah,
hurt.
I would agree, except that there's no sense that like victory can be attained.
Yeah,
at any point.
It's mostly
you can delay extinction, and that's kind of the best outcome.
The delaying of the inevitable.
Yeah. Okay, so let me tell you how this was spelled. ESQUIMAUX. Holy sweet mother of... No. Why would you do this, Lovecraft? Why would you do this to me?
Because he's just a goofy goober.
Eskimo.
He did it for the lulz.
Eskimo.
He spells it that way, and then he calls that one cat that one thing that we're not going to talk about.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, wait. Speaking of which, Bill. So what do you think an Eskimo brother or sister is?
I already know what... I'm pretty sure I already know what that is. I don't want to know what that is. Why are you doing this to me?
Because you didn't know earlier.
I'm a sweet Christian boy.
So
I
much
am
child.
too, but I know things. I read the Bible and I know things that I wish I didn't know. Anyway, my buddy found out when he came down and like
Protect me.
we were at a party. He came down after spending some time with someone, and 3 other guys stood up, Eskimo brother. And we're like, and then we found out it means we've all been in the same tunnel. We've all been in the same place.
Tunnel snakes unite.
Tunnel snakes.
Tunnel snakes. Hashtag tunnel snakes.
I don't know. Sounds pretty gay to me.
We don't have to be in the tunnel at the same time. That's a whole different thing. Anyway, moving on. We're talking about Lovecraft. Tentacle snakes. Anyway, let's see. And then we got like this white, like this looks so good on the camera too, but like look at that, dude. Like this is they find these freaks frolicking and burning and like, all right, kill them all. We don't want these people part of a society anymore.
By the way, Kahuna, what you're showing right now on camera, fantastic example of what indie authors could be doing. So those of you who are like me, those of you out there who are like me, who really enjoy writing tons of short stories and stuff like that, and just getting your ideas out there, but you also love like comics and art. Well, here's a great idea where you can have basically the both. You have your short story, and then you have like art on every page. Fantastic idea.
Every page has something.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's more simple, but like every page of this is just banger after banger. Apparently, the guy's good friend, the artist, is good friends with John Ho, who's famous for all his Lord of the Rings like illustrations, like one of the most famous guys for that.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're both just mighty artists.
Yeah. That book you got there is inspiring.
I like it. Cthulhu from his dark house in the mighty city of Ryla, under the waters, should rise and bring the earth again beneath his sway. I like it. That's all it has. But
amazing.
Just reading little quotes here and there. It's fun.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. As you do. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. So, among the papers, right? He finds a bunch of stuff, and basically, the further along he investigates this, the more crazy, like, and unhinged he becomes. Right? Like you can kind of tell in the details. Let's see. He uses one criticism I'll say is he uses the word cyclopean very heavily. He leans on that very heavily for a descriptor. I mean, personally,
usually evokes the image of one eye, and that's never described as one-eyed. But I'm wondering if artists could have interpreted it that way, because I've never seen the Cthulhu interpretation with one eye.
Well, no, what he's referring to here, I will show you, because I know exactly what he's referring to, and that's why I like the descriptor maybe once or twice, right? But he's leaning on it, and if
you guys if you zoom in here, you can see this is when he was in Japan. We have some audio from this exchange.
It's a mess. Oh no!
Oh Christ! But yeah, that's a nice art. I like that art. I like it. It's pretty.
Oh yeah, you got the Thulid in the background. Let me share something with you guys here quick, just so everybody's on the same page and our listeners are as well. Check out Cyclopean architecture. This is what Lovecraft is talking about when he says Cyclopean. Okay.
Oh, all the old stone that's way larger than it has any right to be, and is
like yes. How did it comprehend?
How did they do it?
How did it get there, and like how do they fit together without any? Right here, perfect example. So like, and this is actually a great example of something Lovecraft would describe. Because do you see how it doesn't make sense?
There's no real pattern.
It doesn't make sense. Yeah, it does not make sense.
It is just chaos. It is insanity incarnate. Looking at that, you stare into the abyss of the brick wall.
Yep.
You will slowly lose your mind as the voices take hold.
Well, because guys, think about
that. That's why I pee on Cyclopean walls. I bring them under my power. I own this.
Show dominance to the voices.
Why is this one part of the wall so like it's eroded? Much worse.
Wait, so if you were on the boat, Kahuna, you get to Cthulhu's little island there, Are you just gonna start peeing on all the walls to assert dominance?
Mine.
I figure it's
Mine.
better than when he wakes up. Because you'd be pissing anyway.
It's a trap.
Would you pee on Cthulhu to assert dominance?
If I had the opportunity. Is it going to bother him? I don't think so. Will it make me feel like the biggest badass in the history of man? Yes.
Typically, beholding him makes you insane.
That would be my entire brand if I did that.
Oh, but what I was going to say, my final thought on this before I close this window here, this Cyclopean shit, literally the entire reason it looks like this is for the sake of looking like this. So the builders of this wall understand that this does not make sense in structure, in like design, any of that, right? Because like, look, it's like a puzzle piece. They're purposely giving it weird shapes, and then somehow making it all fit together into a perfect wall because they're flexing. They're flexing really hard, and they don't even use mortar. You can't even fit a razor blade in between this shit. So none of it makes sense, and they do it to flex.
They're just dabbing on the haters.
Yes, exactly. Bring! Sound effect. We gotta get a dab sound effect, like Super Smash Brothers. Like,
we need the obnoxious like football NFL like soundtrack.
I'll add that to the notes. Yep.
Also, this is a nice little nod that what's his face George R. Martin, the used to be writer, had in a very beloved unfinished book series. A little familiar for those who pay attention. That is not dead which can eternal lie, and with strange aeons even death may die. Basically, George references them with the Iron Islands and their belief system in the fish people, and how they have to be baptized in water before they can ascend, and all of that as well.
So a lot of people like to say Martin is like corrupted, like Tolkien or something, but to be honest, when you look at his stuff through the lens of Lovecraft, that is actually where his true like inspirations lie, and where you can actually garner a lot of foreshadowing.
You could see Michael Moorcock, you could see other in there.
Like the show went ice zombies, but there's actually a lot more suggestive foreshadowing that indicates freaking fish SA, I will say, and fish dinner time is kind of what it's leaning to. Deep Ones, Innsmouth, that kind of stuff.
Also, the others are described way differently in the book.
They're spiritual.
They're way cooler. Like their armor is like silvery and like it almost like blends in with the background. It's way different than how
it's like ice. Yeah. It's ethereal. They're like cosmic. It's crazy. Anyway, that's
I don't read unfinished works.
Fair. The first few are really like, I don't know, there's some good stuff in there, but this is a Lovecraft thing. But anyway, that's where a lot of his inspirations lie. The guy even kind of talks about it. And when you see all the hidden gems in there, like you just pointed out, that's the Iron Islands thing. So if he's doing almost a 1-for-1, like I'm taking this and putting it into the Iron Islands.
What do they say? What is dead may never die.
Exactly.
That's familiar.
So then you start looking at all the other stuff in his work through that lens, and it's almost like a painting that has like ultraviolet paint, right? And the Lovecraft is the ultraviolet light. You start seeing like the crazy stuff that he's painting beneath the surface, and you're like, oh my goodness, that comet's gonna come back, and the fish people are gonna drag everybody off the coast, basically. So when everybody flees from the long night, it's gonna be bad. Anyway, guys, comets also Lovecraftian, by the way. Meteors, the color out of space. We're gonna go through all the Lovecraft stuff on the Iron Seas
at some point, for sure. Yeah, and like even this, like as you go through the story, like he's very skeptical for a large portion of it, but like you could start to see the turning point right about here. My attitude was still one of absolute materialism, as I wish it still were. And I discounted with almost inexplicable perversity the coincidence of the dream notes and odd cuttings collected by Professor Angel, I guess. One thing I began to suspect, and now I know I fear, which I now fear I know, is that my uncle's death was far from natural. He fell on a narrow hill street leading up to the ancient waterfront, swarming with foreign mongrels. After a careless push from a sailor, with a word missing there, I did not forget that. Anyway, but yeah, he's starting to like. He's like, okay, this is becoming sus. Like,
Yeah.
I don't buy it, but
There's the
The
creeping, the
weird.
slow
The
creeping.
numbers are not mathing the way that I want them to math.
It ain't nothing. Also, we're going to get really descriptive about mixed blood in pursuits of cold sleep.
Absolutely.
This is-
It's Lovecraft.
yeah.
We got to get some of the racism in
This
there.
is the Lovecraft. And I mean, there's an argument to be made there. We all know that he has his personal beliefs about things, but
His cat's name.
from a narrative perspective, there is some defense you can make about him trying to make things seem more otherworldly, foreign, strange, unknown, this kind of stuff.
This is actually something that I've wondered, and has been brought back just by this bit of the discussion here. How much of his own personal biases and bigotries to other ethnicities played into how he developed his world, his creatures, the ideas behind things like the Deep Ones, the residents of Innsmouth, like.
Well, it
I
also
know he
doesn't
didn't
help,
like
it doesn't help that there are a lot of old world beliefs in older parts of the world that displayed by other cultures are essentially are devil worship. They're not worshiping the Christian God of that's like all these old practices, and like there are places where cannibalism is a socially practiced thing in certain parts of the world, multiple parts of the world. Well, hell, New Zealand still did that not that long ago. The Maori were savage, dude. They would eat their enemies. There's pictures of some of the English and Dutch guys there. It's like there's a wall full of heads. It's like these are all enemies that I've killed, and they're all shrunken. And you could see the carved out tattoos on the faces, all shrunk with the head. And you're like, oh, that's something, man.
How delightfully grotesque.
And it's like, so for someone who was more sensitive to negative emotion, like I assume Lovecraft was, I could see that disturbing him still, especially if he wasn't exposed positively to other cultures growing up.
Well, and granted, I can't personally verify a lot of their research myself, but the Historical Society, which I mentioned earlier with their adaptations, when you get one of these Dark Adventure Radio Theater discs, it comes with it can come with all these different props relating to the audio, but it also comes with a little information thing about Lovecraft, because it's the Historical Society.
Yeah.
And from the information I've gathered from them, he was not, as any true artist would be, he was very much not in his right mind.
Yeah, he wasn't. Yeah, no, that
And
was obvious from everything I've read about him personally.
It is kind of, it's fascinating. Just from a clinical psychological standpoint, I find it very, very fascinating.
Yeah. And also it's like I also love how it obviously makes sense for the structure of the story, but every like chapter it's just like it's going deeper and darker each time. It's like, okay, well things are starting to get weird. Now chapter 3, the madness from the sea. Now this is where he finds out about another statue and the sailors, and he starts looking into all that as well. And yeah, it's like at this point, it's like it's also, we were both kind of right. It was his uncle, but it was his grand uncle. So yeah, kind of grandfather.
Yeah. I think I said great uncle earlier. Yeah,
you might have. But yeah, no,
an older relative,
elderly relative who died mysteriously in an alley filled with foreigners.
Yeah.
But yeah,
we need strong border policy.
Yeah.
Keep the cultists out.
Does your neighbor look like this, Fish?
Does your neighbor look like he or she came from Innsmouth? Call ICE today.
Oh, But yeah, also how he gets creeped. Like when he's going on his travels, he starts getting creeped out. He feels like he's being followed, and people
Mhm.
are watching him. And it's like, oh yeah, that's not good. He starts getting paranoid. I'm like, this is how it starts.
Yep, that's that call creeping in, right? And you can see this, like, I think in Lovecraft works, it's really important to pay attention to the thoughts of whatever characters.
Yeah.
Whenever the internal monologue or narration of a character comes in, and what they think about things, their opinion of things, how they perceive something, all these aspects are very relevant, because you can see a slow change. This is where his character development is. It's usually a negative character arc. Another reason why I love Lovecraft. I write negative character arcs too. It's where a character starts in one place and it's actually declining,
And then
or
everything
there's
goes to shit.
yeah. And in his case, instead of moral degradation, it's like
Psychological degradation.
psychological decadence. Yeah.
And that's actually a good thing to bring up because a lot of his stories are done in a way where, as you said, Kahuna, it is going deeper. And as we're going deeper,
It's
the
getting
mind is unraveling. Your sanity is coming apart.
the perspective is unraveling as well, and it gets worse and worse. And then I thought with a shudder of what old Castro had told Legrasse about the primal great ones. They had come from the stars and had brought their images with them. The two Lascar sailors helped him to his feet, but before the ambulance could reach him, he was dead. The physicians found no adequate cause for the end and laid it to heart trouble and a weakened constitution. I now felt gnawing at my vitals, that dark terror, which will never leave me till I too am at rest. It's like, oh, this is not like. Also, it's like in the book, it's like, oh, he had heart trouble and there were people around, but we don't really know what happened. And the art's like, anyway, these two mysterious guys back there had nothing to do with it. It's like, oh
Yeah.
no, what happened? Flops away.
It flops away. Yeah. Deep
No,
speech
whatever
intensifies.
happened to him?
Yeah, deep speech intensifies. Yeah. Let's see.
And real quick, because I can't remember if we even mentioned this, but this is what most people would consider the definitive Lovecraft story, is it not?
Yes, the first.
This or Mountains
greatest.
of Madness. They're kind
Yeah,
of both in competition with
Well,
one another.
Dagon. Dagon's a big one.
A lot of them are big. Yeah.
A lot of them are big.
What was the name of that?
Cthulhu's the name that
The
has
Beast
stuck
of
out.
Dublin, or what was that one called? Which one am I thinking of? It's where that woman has
The Dunwich Horror.
Dunwich Horror. That's the other one.
Dunwich Horror is a big one. Yeah,
I really like that one.
Yeah,
I really like that one. It's pretty cool.
One. That is a
Because
good one.
it's not just like the unraveling of a mind and the like finding something horrifying and otherworldly. It's like that thing is in you and part of you guys now. It's a little more horrozing. And
body horror. And
don't read too much into what he might have been afraid of there, but
and for those who don't know, the Fallout franchise actually, much like George R.R. Martin, lifted even the word Dunwich.
I'll be right back. Sorry.
Okay, they lifted the word Dunwich directly and made a quest line out of it. There's like the Dunwich Boring Company or something like that. They like literally drill, and they have a whole quest line where there's where you discover basically it gets as deep as you find an old one that they're trying to rebirth into the world. I think that's in one of the expansions. They like keep it in a tunnel somewhere, and it's crazy. It's literally Lovecraft old one. There it is. And one of the ancestors of like the Dunwich family or whatever becomes obsessed with basically the Necronomicon. So there's some really good nods to Lovecraft in the Fallout series as well. I would look look for the word Dunwich when you play Fallout and do that storyline. Talk to everybody. It's interesting.
Well, and on the topic of games and just furthering the very famous nature of Call of Cthulhu, we have the Call of Cthulhu tabletop game, which is all the way back there on my shelf.
Yeah, that's probably one of the most famous ones. That almost supersedes the story these days, doesn't it? In ways.
And even a video game called Call of Cthulhu and another video game called The Sinking City, both of which really fun. I recommend them. Wink, wink. Bust out your wallets for Steam and GOG, everybody.
Yeah.
Also, yeah, isn't the Sunken City like? It's like, by the way, we're not racist, but we do like his stuff, so we're going to take it.
Yeah.
Like they have that disclaimer at the very beginning. It's like
Everyone seems to...
we have different naming conventions for our cats, but this world is going to make us a lot of money. So here we give you this.
Did we get to the swamp cult yet, or are we still on dreams?
Kind of passed by that, but we can always come back to it.
Oh, okay,
I love this idea of like evil old world cults. Anyway, take it away. I have another call. My God.
Well, I was going to say cults earlier when you mentioned it, but yeah, take your call. So yeah, this idea of cults, it is a very good idea to touch on. Like, it turns out, like, I just mentioned the Fallout games, but like, yeah, that whole quest line is just all around a cult. It's always a cult. You know, like in the fantasy trope that a wizard did it. There's always a wizard behind it. You know, Gandalf assembles the party. I mean, even Sauron is like an evil wizard. You know, oh, this crazy historical thing happened because of this wizard got pissed that one time, that kind of thing. Kind of the same thing with Lovecraft, but instead it's like a cult and there's like an old one behind it, sort of thing. Cult's fascinating. It paints a clear antagonist as soon as you use cult language. And, you know, you can ascertain that they're insane. You know, it excuses a lot of things on the antagonist checklist, and actually happens to be a nice delivery vehicle for the unknown, right? Because what makes cults so creepy is we don't understand them. We don't understand why they think that, like, you know.
Well, not only that, but over the years, I don't know how much was known about cults from a sociological or psychological perspective back in Lovecraft's time, but now we know that a lot of cults are based very heavily on very predatory psychological practices. Like, oh, you feel isolated from everyone. Well, join the cult. Here you'll be welcomed. You will be part of the group.
Yeah.
Join
while ironically further
do the Jonestown with us.
Yes. And the ironic thing, obviously, being that they further isolate you, like from your friends and family.
Or
so,
even...
So it's like help. We will help you not feel isolated. Like, here's a sense of family. Just leave your friends and family behind and isolate yourself. It's like that double think, you know.
And even some cults like the Jehovah's Witnesses, where they'll take something good like Christianity and twist it into something evil and cultish. Where
but wait,
you said something
I've been informed by modern media that Christians are evil.
Evil.
Modern media can Lovecraft on my Cthulhu until I Fatagan, okay?
Until I Fatagan. And they can go shithoth themselves.
They can rile off to Kongla, my man in yellow, until
my man in yellow, yeah.
Until the man in yellow sees colors in space.
Well, like, the interesting thing, right? When you think of the most magical and like evil cultish things that you can paint as the antagonist, like
human
Christianity aside in modern media and stuff, isn't it always things like Aztec and Mayan, even Egyptian sometimes? You know, you do get the occasional evil Norse sprinkled in there. But then obviously
there was definitely some occult like Norse practices too. Like, even reading up on like Native American stuff, like skinwalkers was kind of like, they were a cult that like basically what they did was anything that was taboo in Navajo culture they would do, and then they would like recruit people to join them in the caves in the woods.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's
a lot of it involved like doing things to desecrating bad things to dead bodies and all sorts of stuff that was just not right. It's like,
Culture-
oh yeah, I like how Navajo are like, you are not human anymore. Good.
Yeah, check. Uh, yeah, and I mean, you do get the other side of that coin with the indigenous American tribes that where they will literally create mythological creatures like the Wendigo, a skinwalker. It's kind of known as like the rake and other names these days. But yeah, like this
Well, like,
creature
what
that like
is so
shapeshifts and is cannibalistic.
Well, yeah, it's like this creature that acts human but isn't human. It's like what they historically believe is that they were cannibals and they had gone mad because they
Yep.
ate, like creatures. Cannibalism happens in nature, but you're not supposed to eat the brain of the same animal that you are, the same creature that you are.
Yeah.
Because that will drive you insane, and that's been proven in humans and other species too. So,
Fun little point of trivia that becomes a plot point in the movie The Book of Eli for anyone watching who has not seen that.
Good movie. That movie genuinely.
That
was a genuine plot twist. That was a genuine plot twist. I will say. Yeah.
Did you guys figure out the twist of that whole movie before the end?
No, I actually didn't at the time. No.
I did not, but I watched it the first time when I was a dumb kid, so I wasn't picking up on a lot.
Well, it's a bait.
I was in high school when that came out.
Well, it's a bait and switch twist, right? Because it's like, I mean, I'm not going to spoil it, but there's actually two twists. It's the book, and then also the nature of Eli himself, right? Yeah,
it's a twist that all is revealed at the same time and all tied together. So
and then that's what makes it a good twist because of the context. Because like you've been on this journey, so then you're sitting there, you're like, oh wow, and then you start remembering everything else that came before, and you're like,
watch it again, you're like,
yeah, good stuff. Underrated movie, I think. Even though I think I haven't heard anybody who dislikes it, I think it's genuinely underrated. But anyway, did we get
that?
It kind of came out at a weird time.
Yeah.
It was post-apocalyptic, but not zombie, and everything that was post-apocalyptic at that time was zombie.
It was more in line with like a Mad Max kind of post-apocalypse, where everything is desert. You have some settlements sprinkled throughout. Everyone, for some reason, has enough gasoline to still travel to the next town over.
It's implied it's not that long after. It's like it was a very brutal apocalypse, as in like there's barely any people left. And then it hasn't been that long. And it's not like because they had like water, whereas they had control of water. So theoretically they could have been able to like continue processing gasoline.
Climate change
quantities, but
I think Lovecraft though still has the best apocalypse for his universe. You know this.
Yeah.
Azathoth, if I'm getting my names correct, Azathoth wakes up, everything just ceases to exist.
Yeah, there's a couple of short stories.
You lose. Good day, sir.
Everybody goes mad and poops on themselves, which actually is in line with one scenario for how the Earth kind of like ends, and that's another large planetary body. In the conspiracy theories, it's Planet X or Nibiru or whatever, but like all it takes is really a large planetary body passing by the Earth a little too closely, and essentially the magnetic field fries everybody's brains, and so like it gets close, we're all drooling on each other, and then like tidal waves and apocalypse, and we don't even realize it's happening because we're pooping on ourselves because our brains are scrambled because of like the magnetic field.
Oh yeah.
So that actually sounds like Lovecraft, doesn't it? Except it's an actual real scientific thing that could happen if a planetary body because like it gets close, the magnetic field and gets us, and then the gravity literally drags the water to the other side of the planet. Think of how our moon interacts with the tides. So like everything's wiped out, we're all fried, and we're all like anybody who's alive, their brains are just cooked. And so like there you go, Lovecraft.
If you guys haven't checked it out, Robert E. Howard has written in Lovecraft's universe with permission, and it's really fucking good. So do check that out when you get a chance. But then we have our horror edition of bye AC. Bye, Andy. Bye, Andy. Then we have our very horror edition of Tolkien-style description here. They came upon a coastline of mingled mud, ooze, and weedy cyclopean masonry, which can be nothing less than the tangible substance of Earth's supreme terror. the nightmare corpse of Varela that was built in measureless aeons behind history by the vast loathsome shapes that seeped down from the dark stars. There lay Cthulhu and his hordes, hidden by green slimy vaults, sending out at last after cycles of incalculable, the thoughts that spread fear to the dreams of the sensitive and called imperiously to the faithful to come on a pilgrimage of liberation and restoration. All this Johansen did not suspect, but God knows he soon saw enough.
Fantastic.
Ugh.
Fantastic.
I have to practice if I'm going to read a book like this out loud for a period of time, because the rhythm of language and the word usage is so different. It's hard to keep it straight when you're reading it out loud, but I'm doing my best. Oh, well, like someone commented it earlier. I did say it. I absolutely just said it wrong. Let me see.
My only criticism is I wanted some like reverb and echo in there. You know what I mean? Like we're in a cathedral, Kahuna. Like,
Let's see.
So real quick, I want to point out the silent film.
Have not
From
seen
that description of, well, not many people have seen it. I'm in the minority here. I know I'm in the minority. But the silent movie has this really great scene when they first get onto the island. One of the sailors is investigating the wall. He like rubs his hand across the wall and then he removes it and it's all wet and covered in mud and seaweed. And you can see in their heads from the actors that that's when they're making the connection that this was just under the sea. This came up out of the water, which is a really good bit of visual storytelling.
Yeah. So wait, we're at the sea now, the Sea of Madness.
Yeah. Well, we're kind of jumping around a little bit, but
that's fine.
Yeah, it has great descriptions and great art as well. The ship looks tiny, as it should.
Yes.
It's like you might not on camera. You may not even be able to see it. Ship is right at the end of my finger here. So let me see. Tilt that up.
See it. It's. I would not have known that was the ship.
It's hard to tell on camera, but I've read this myself. So actually, if you guys want, we can do Kahuna Cthulhu story time sometime as a live stream on the Iron Seas. I think that could be a fun time.
The audiobook that we listened to was only like an hour and a half, so that's definitely less than
doable in an evening or two, depending on the time I have.
Yeah, dude, and it really has 3 acts, right? So it's like the opening, and it's the horror in clay, right, where he sees the relief of Cthulhu and ponders on it, and then there's the dreams, right, and the swamp cult, and then the madness at the sea, which is really the final act. That's where we see Cthulhu. So and that's actually where the character is compelled to dig deeper, right? So we meet the character. He sees the thing, which triggers the other things, and he ponders on it, reads some of it, which is the middle chunk, and then the final act is he's called to action to go continue the research, because now he's just so like he's heard the call so much, and this is the nature of Lovecraftian things is like the more you look into it, the more you consume it in any way, the more touched by it you are. 100%. Which is fair. That aged well, didn't it? Like with media and stuff.
And if I'm not mistaken, there's even a mechanic in the tabletop game where the more you delve into some of the research, the more at risk you are of going insane.
Exactly. No, it's a high risk. I started off as a German-raised Jew in the 1930s. It was a meme character. She moved to the United States and then became a Mormon. And so she had a lot of wild ideas, and she was 6'1" and blonde and very racist. A great character to play. But let me see. I got your ass, AC. Let's see. The very sun of heaven seemed distorted when viewed through the polarizing miasma welling out from this sea-soaked perversion. And the twisted menace and suspense lurked leeringly in those crazily elusive angles of carved rock, where a second glance shrewd concavity after the first shrewd convexity. Anyway, my children are here, so give me 1 minute.
I don't remember that line being in the book.
Hello.
Hey, Mini
1
Kahuna.
second, fellas.
You're good. All right. So, we get to the he rents out. He finds a sailor. Finds out that Johansson died of mysterious circumstances, similar to the other person's death. They encounter a violent storm at sea because he's compelled to continue the research. Obviously, damages the ship, which sweeps them away, like many other stories, right, to the uncharted island and stuff. Hedge, he's being attacked by the great young ones. Yes. Yes, that's on point. Okay, so they end up like being swept away to an island, right? And that's where they find the Cyclopean. This is where everything starts coming together, right? They find like that Cyclopean city. They find a Cthulhu relief. They find it's just like Cthulhu Island, right? And this, I mean, we don't know this yet as our first entry point into Lovecraft, but judging by this being on an island with Cyclopean architecture, I'm assuming deep ones are also involved, especially since there's so much sea stuff going on here, sea themes. So yeah, what did you think about this portion when they're like on the island?
Prime food for the voices in my head, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
But just the way he gets into the stuff about, you know, the deep ones, the old ones, their architecture, their nature, and this is no exception to that. It's what Hedge here is saying, that it's just great non-Euclidean geometry all around.
You beat me to it. I was just gonna say the use of the term non-Euclidean as a descriptor. Oh, so good.
Which, as a math nerd, is, I don't know why, I just really enjoy seeing that in there, because okay, so we're just not going to adhere to patterns. Okay, I guess the deep ones and the old ones just love dabbing on the haters.
Yes,
he was attacked by the great young ones.
Yes. and we were just talking about
that was fun. Anyway,
and we were just talking about non-Euclidean geometry, which defies all logic, which has become like that's a thing now. I just posted a meme the other day that was like, I don't dabble in Euclidean geometry.
You know why it's called Euclidean? Because men can't find it anyway.
Yeah. But
I'm actually not convinced it actually exists. First of all, second.
Oh yes.
Well, all I have to say is navigating the island is easy. To get off of it, you just have to take a left at the MC Usher stairs. You know.
Sorry, I'm reading the comments. So good.
Yeah. But
but my one game of Call of Cthulhu was fun. It was just, it's different from every other tabletop I've played because you do not want to get into combat in Call of Cthulhu. No. It's a bad proposition.
I was very generous to my players when and granted, this was also due to my inexperience running tabletop games at the time. I would like to give it another shot, either with this one or with Bonsart's game that he's coming out with.
Oh, that would be a fun one to play. That would be a fun one.
But yeah, it is very unforgiving.
No,
and actually, on the topic of Azathoth, look at his entry in the Malleus Monstrorum. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna kill my camera for a minute as I get my books.
Do it.
He's taking his clothes off again.
We didn't get a super chat for that, but I'm sure every man has his price. So
that's true.
We're just at the part, Kahuna, where they awaken Cthulhu itself.
Yeah, the door and dude, it's like also the art is fucking killer.
Yeah, because what do they do? They accidentally open a massive stone door. What were you doing, Bill? Show us.
I think grabbing my he opens it because there's no way.
I was grabbing my what would be the monster manuals for the Call of Cthulhu game, because the entry for Azathoth is absolutely hysterical.
me see.
Let me just pull that up real quick.
But yeah, they did not open this door. Oh,
See-
I love how it talks about like the straight lines lead to places that are impossibly close or impossibly far away.
Mhm.
The angles don't make sense. We're starting to go insane.
I imagine
imagine-
that would have been fun for the artist to do.
I was just gonna say that. You guys are reading my mind. It's like imagine being the artist who's like, yeah, just make it like not make sense, not non-Euclidean type thing, just make sure everything is cyclopean, and then
There's this rounded part on both sides, a little bulge there in this. Anyway,
yeah. But
also
do
the
you have
way
the-
they portray scale of Cthulhu is insane.
I was gonna say, do you have the description of Cthulhu? I'm sure people would be interested in that.
Let me see. Yeah,
like when
let
he
me.
awakens.
Yeah. Let me check that I'm not missing anything pertinent on the last page. Yep. The Acre Great panel began to give. Wait, I need echo. Hold on.
You got it. You got it.
That very softly and slowly, the Acre Great panel began to give inwards at the top, and they saw that it was balanced. Donovan slid or somehow propelled himself down along the jam and rejoined his fellows, and everybody watched the queer recession of the monstrously carved portal. In this fantasy of prismatic distortion, it moved anonymously in a diagonal away, so that all rules of matter and perspective seemed upset. The aperture was black with a darkness almost material. Then that tenebrousness was indeed a positive quality, for it obscured parts of the inner walls that ought to have been revealed, and actually burst forth like smoke from its aeon-like imprisonment, visibly darkening the sun as it slunk away into the shrunken gibbous sky on flapping membranous wings.
Oh my god.
The odor arising from the newly opened depths was intolerable, and at length the quick-eared Harkins thought he heard a nasty slapping sound down there. Everybody listened, and everybody was listening still when it lumbered slobberingly into sight, and gropingly squeezed its gelatinous green immensity through the black doorway and into the tainted outside air of that poisoned city of madness. That'll work.
Wow. Good stuff. It sounds disgusting, which is
It
amazing.
sounds absolutely, yeah, like your average Seattle girl's apartment. It's terrible, dude.
And after that first build up, he gets you with the left right good night when he hits you with that smell descriptor. Ooh.
Ugh.
So there's like a
That's
pair.
right.
There's
I
like
think
a pair
I got
of
my
feelings.
description. I think I'm getting my creatures here mixed up. I thought it was Azathoth's entry, but rereading it, I think I got things mixed up.
So it has a scaly body, which but it's a gelatinous monstrosity. So I'm assuming it's just like corpulent, just like it's so just like
Sometimes it's described as something like disgusting, and other times it's described as something majestic, like
yeah.
an octopus dragon, and then like a
Dragon,
gelatinous
yeah.
green slimy.
Cthulhu counts as a
I don't know.
dragon. I mean, because Lovecraft literally uses the word dragon in it as a descriptor. People can argue it all they want, but like literally Cthulhu is a dragon, and that means we can size them up next to like Smog and all these other dragons, and it's a hard comparison when you're going up against Cthulhu, guys. I'm just saying.
Animation overload, jellyfish, kind of, yeah, like that dragonfish. Got it.
Oh no, I did get it right. Azathoth's attack in the actual source book here. Attacks per round 1d6. May strike anything within its vicinity with a tendril of negative energy. A portion of Azathoth does the same, but at a lesser scale. That was not the part that I wanted. Where was it?
There.
Let's see. Sanity loss, 1d10, 1d100. Ah, here it is. Mindless. At any moment, the dreaming entity may send forth a tentacle of negativity, whose touch instantly disintegrates living matter on contact. For those in the vicinity, a group luck roll per minute determines whether such a risk occurs. If so, ask for a luck roll from all, with the worst, highest, signifying who should attempt a dodge roll to avoid instant death. Note that this effect remains the same for a portion of Azathoth, see below, although the range and damage are reduced to 5 to 10 yards/meters and 1d10 respectively, and the group luck roll should be made once per 5 minutes.
So, what do you guys? My tinfoil brain starts firing listening to that. So, okay, I'm gonna give you A or B because I think this is what it comes down to. Cthulhu hits you, or Azathoth hits you with his tentacle. Is it A, so disgusting and corrosive? Like, I want you to think of like super necrotic snake venom, you know, the stuff that literally melts your flesh, but like on steroids to the point where you literally dissolve instantly when he touches you. Are his tentacles coated with that shit? Or is it like War of the Worlds where he just touches you and you're just dust? You just instant Thanos when they touch you.
I think
Given
slow Thanos.
Slow
I
Thanos? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would take it a step further than that, given Azathoth's nature, and say, now you never even existed.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how I
Oh,
would go with my
interesting.
campaign if I was
Yeah.
running a campaign and I brought Azathoth into it. Oh, it touched you? Okay, you're dead, and you no longer existed.
He's
Everyone
yeah,
at the
that-
table act accordingly.
There's something like that in the Wheel of Time. And at some point Rand figures out how to use it. It's like, if you use that, the Wheel of Time is the endless cycle, and if you use that, anything you hit, that thing is gone in every cycle forever.
Yeah.
It's like, anyway, he uses it a lot, but
Prank him, John.
I just had a thought, random. If Cthulhu is a dragon, Magic the Gathering likes to do a lot of crossovers, right? So if Cthulhu is ever in the Magic the Gathering universe, doesn't that imply that the Ur-Dragon gave birth to Cthulhu because they have this character called the Ur-Dragon who allegedly gave birth to all dragons, right? Just a random thought for fellow MTG nerds out there. Just kind of funny thinking about like a Tiamat type.
We better get back to Agathoth.
Yeah, like a Tiamat type, right? Like giving birth to a Cthulhu, and it's just like, what are you? And then all the Cthulhu stories ensue from there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Anyway, so Cthulhu literally chases them and kills most of the crew, right?
Well, no, but the way I read it, it sounds like Cthulhu his existence causes the death of many, but he's not actually trying to kill them. That's the impression that I was given.
And the boat was
more
probably
Lovecraftian
just in the
way.
way of where he wanted to go.
Right.
Yeah, and like all you guys keep talking about, like I'm looking up pictures of the scale.
Kind of
And yeah,
adds
his
to the
existence-
terror because a lot of these creatures are acting in ways that we're insignificant to them. Actually, and this is part of why the color out of space is one of my favorite Lovecraft stories.
Down here.
It is a.
It's like it's not even close, and he's far away too.
Wow. Beautiful. What were you saying, Bill?
It's one of the reasons why Color Out of Space is my favorite Lovecraft story, is because the color, it may have an intelligence. We don't know. The way it's presented, it could just be an animal acting on natural instinct as it develops from its egg form to being able to leave Earth or leave the nest.
Right. Now, Kahuna, don't they ram the boat into Cthulhu?
I don't think they do. I think what happens, I'm double checking right now, is that it goes into the water and then disappears, but that they don't actually do anything to hurt it.
Okay, I thought they rammed into his head and.
No, that's what would happen if Robert E. Howard wrote the story. They would
Right.
ram it into his head and shove it down his gullet.
Yeah.
And then they would kill him from the inside and become big damn heroes. But that's not what happens here.
Okay. Well, so it just so it's free now, right? That's kind of the implication then.
Yeah, no, they ran like lightning on deck and reversed the wheel.
Yeah, dude.
Get
No
the
shit.
fuck out of here.
Yeah.
The awful
Run away.
squid head with writhing feelers came nearly up to the bowsprit of the sturdy yacht, but Johansson drove on relentlessly. Oh yeah, this is a great perspective shot.
Let's see
too.
it.
You
Let's
like
see
got the front of the boat. It's like, oh, what's that in the water? Oh,
Oh my god. Dude, that triggers me, to be honest. So his conclusion, right? He pieces together the evidence, the dreams. Obviously, how could you not with Cthulhu? It proves the existence of the reality of the great old ones, and the other mysterious events throughout the story, and his, and the cosmic forces that allow Cthulhu to influence the world, right? He realizes the cult is global and unstoppable, waiting for the stars to align again for Cthulhu's return. It came from the stars, right? That line. He fears for his own safety, believing the cult may target him for uncovering their secrets, which, and the story ends with him despairing and reflecting, right? Very Lovecraftian.
I can read that part.
Yes, please do.
That was a document I read, and now I have placed it in a tin box besides the bas relief and the papers of Professor Angel. With it shall go this record of mine, this test of my own sanity, wherein is pierced together that which I hope may never be placed together again. I have looked upon all that the universe has to hold of horror, and even the skies of spring and the flowers of summer must ever afterwards be poison to me. But I do not think my life will be long. As my uncle went, as poor Johansson went, so I shall go. I know too much, and the cult still lives. Also,
So he's kind of a broken man then.
The book leaves it on the ambiguous note. Gee whiz, gee willy willikers. I wonder what's going to happen.
Oh God, yeah. So yep. I think that's artist interpretation there a little bit.
It is for sure,
Yeah.
because it is left ambiguous. It's implied that he's going to die, and the artist's like, we're going to be absolutely certain.
Well, because part of it is he realizes the cult is worldwide, so it's like realizing the Illuminati's real, and they all worship Cthulhu, which is accurate.
Actually, there is one more paragraph, if you would indulge me.
I would indulge. Yes.
Cthulhu still lives too. I suppose, again, in that chasm of stone which has shielded him since the sun was young. His accursed city is sunken once more, for the vigilant sailed over the spot after the April storms. But his ministers on earth still bellow and prance and slay around idol-shaped capped monoliths in lonely places. He must have been trapped by the sinking whilst in his black abyss, or else the world would by now be screaming with fright and frenzy. Who knows the end? What has risen may sink, and what has sunk may rise. Loathsomeness awaits and dreams in the deep, and the decay spreads over the tottering cities of men. A time will come, but I must not and cannot think. Let me pray that, if I do not survive this manuscript, my executors may put caution before audacity, and see that it meets no other eye.
Oh, geez. So yeah, it's better that humanity doesn't even know when it's about to happen. Just like I was saying about that planetary object thing, the real life scenario that sounds a lot like Cthulhu. Yeah. So what are your guys' final thoughts on it? We'll go around. What are your final thoughts?
Cthulhu is the big bad devil, and Jesus Christ could slay him with but one uttered word. But that's just my own interpretation of
MMA Jesus would lay it down. It would be like a pirate with like the sail. You know what I'm talking about?
Jesus shows up with the southern accent. Cthulhu quit. Seriously.
Quit, Cthulhu.
It turned Cthulhu into biblically accurate sushi.
Yeah,
I did look that up on Grok the other day.
yeah, Jesus just stands up like a DBZ character, like you don't know who you're messing with, and then
There's
like the
actually a
biblically
fair
accurate
few movies, actually.
angels rise up behind him, and it's like, oh shit, it's going down. The DBZ music kicks in. Yep.
Honestly, though, final thoughts. There is a reason why Lovecraft's work has, even though it wasn't huge when he was alive, there's a reason why over time it has become as iconic as it is.
Yes, absolutely.
Whatever was going on in his mind, he probably needed a lot more help than he got, but he gave us some absolute bangers.
He really did.
Yeah. No, he wrote some very good.
It's almost like that one
like
mathematician.
he and Robert were both very short lived, but they were both so prolific, and the impact they had to writing in general. Perhaps it was that there was always going to be someone who filled that niche,
And what's
at that time, but they were in that position at the time, and they did a very good job filling that niche. You have, and again, I do like Lovecraft, but I dislike the response to overwhelming evil of the characters within it. I think it's a nice. I think, and plus, if you read what they wrote, what was it that he said? Yeah, no, that Lovecraft talked about Robert's writing. He said there's no one else on earth better at writing the emotion of terror than my friend Robert.
Wow. What?
No one else on earth, not even himself.
Phrase. We'll have to dive into Robert after we get back to the Red Rising, and after we finish Red Rising and
finish Morningstar. We can come back for the second trilogy here soon, but there's also Dream Snake is a short story by Robert. It's one of his shortest stories, and it's my favorite short story ever written by anybody.
Amazing.
And it's horror, and it's very good. And it's based on a real reoccurring dream that he had shortly before he died. So
should we go on a short story little tirade there, or like pepper short stories in between the big ones? Because I would like to read The Ice Dragon by George R.R. Martin sometime. I have a copy of that. That's a short story.
I've never heard of it. If it's available somewhere online, we can figure that out.
It was in the 80s, I think. So it's probably very available.
There's also Hedge Knight. Hedge Knight is very short. A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. Plus, I can invite Billy Bobsack to join us because he is a George R.R. Martin nut. He knows way more than me and most other people.
Cool.
And he has a lot of good insight for stuff like that. Plus, he talks kind of like this anyway. So
yeah. But to add to what Bill was saying, like that culture, it's just like a cultural bomb, right? And like I was going to mention this earlier, but it's almost like Lovecraft just clearly saw these stories in his mind when he was writing it. You could just tell, like the descriptions, you just know this guy wasn't just sitting there trying to think of a description for this stuff. It was like he knew it already. He's just writing down, what's like just popping in his head.
Me in that regard.
I wonder if people like this have very vivid dreams or not. Exactly. A lot of them do.
Yeah.
I don't remember almost any of my dreams. I'll have an impression of, if I had a dream, which is rare, I'll have an impression of what it felt like, but no details.
I do remember my dreams. I actually, my Zorn series, which, by the way, for anyone listening, you can read for free right now on my Substack. That is Zulu Omega Romeo November Echo.substack.com. That is ZORNE.substack.com. Go read it. But
anyone
all
want
of
to read
planets,
a story about Zorn?
My planets, my space stations, all of my set pieces are derived from my dreams in some form or another.
That's neat. I like
that. It does help with creating. I can say this right now. It absolutely does help with that fantastical world building. Now, creatures, I have to make that crap up as I'm sitting there at my desk realizing that Daniel's going to get on me for not describing these things.
Yeah, you gotta.
He'll find out where I live and throw
depending on the perspective, you can be vague, but just use kind of like Lovecraft. He's not specific. with his most of his like creature descriptions. It's like he gives like the feeling evoked by it. It's like it's as if I was looking at someone whose genealogy had once had walked out of the sea much later than ours had.
Right. It was like I'm looking at somebody who didn't quite fit together correctly. And it's like, what a great way to put it. You know what I mean?
Because we've all seen people like that. Unfortunate. Like it's not, and they're usually fine people. It's just like very unfortunate looking. It's like your parts are a little more cobbled together than some.
A little more cobbled. Yeah, and it's a series of those little
like looking through spares. It's like, oh crap, I have all these spares. Just put them all together.
Let's make us a Franken build and move on.
Oh yeah. Well, so yeah, it's like he had the clear vision in my mind. I think we're all unanimously in agreement here that it floats, which I have
real
a clip
quick.
for. Yes.
Real quick. So, I don't know if either of you have heard of this gentleman or read his work, but Seabury Quinn.
I've heard of him.
I have not read any of Robert E. Howard's stuff, but I have gone a bit into Seabury Quinn's stuff, really only his Jules de Grandin series.
Mm-hmm.
For anyone listening, Seabury Quinn was a contemporary of Lovecraft and Howard.
Mm-hmm.
Quinn's stuff was in the group of the popular stuff at the time, and it's really interesting to go from Lovecraft to Quinn. Because Quinn's Jules de Grandin stories, while they're fun, I would say not quite as good as Lovecraft.
Right.
Yeah.
But worth it, right?
It's like even on stories that are like don't necessarily have a happy ending, like Solomon Kane stories are a great example of that. The endings aren't necessarily happy, but it doesn't feel dour. It doesn't feel like all hope is lost. It feels like good will still prevail in the end, even if it doesn't in a given moment. And when I read Lovecraft, I don't get that feeling. I get the feeling that all is lost. Well,
And I
what
think
do you call it? The end is delayed, but never gone. Kind of thing.
This isn't the end, but the end will come. At the end,
that kind of works for the existential psychological terror of it all.
Yeah.
Until you read short stories from a collection of people who are writing in Lovecraft's world, and like some of the stories are great, others are just like these are horny teenagers who were probably like they were kids of a cult who knew what was coming, and so they're just like, what if we just did psychedelics out in the desert and had a lot
each other?
Alan Moore's Neonomicon and Providence are absolutely freaking weird to read. I have read both. The first one's plot completely centers on an FBI agent being kidnapped by a cult and snuggled by a deep one. And then the next one is like it's just weird. Alan Moore did more drugs than usual when he was writing those. That's all.
Looks over. Did Aquaman send you?
The deep one. The deep one. I am inevitable.
You're so short. Why do they call you the deep one?
Well, I think that kind of story is necessary though, because that is a very big part of the deep ones, right? And mine are actually a little bit more disgusting, where it's not going to be like a struggle snuggle. It's like they need a warm body for their eggs, kind of thing.
I just thought of a book.
More like Alien versus Predator, like so, or like the Xenomorphs in a way. So, but yeah, like to wrap it up, Robert E. Howard. Good guy.
That is not Robert E. Howard. That is Lovecraft.
I know. This is Lovecraft. I'm saying Robert E. Howard, good guy. Lovecraft, a little bit more controversial. Don't look up the name of his cat. But fantastic guy. Fantastic
Look up
guy.
the name of his cat.
Great at writing. Check out his stuff. What do you think, Vilgax? I think you're right. Okay, so it rises. It not only floats, it rises out of the deep, right?
Right. My mast is rising.
Yes, sir. Here we go. What are we looking at?
This is a book we need to read at some point. I'll even buy it for some people at some point if it makes sense to, but This is a book I read when I was younger, definitely inspired by Lovecraft, but also by real world biology. It's called Hunters of the Dark Sea, and it is an incredible, scary, very gripping book.
Amazing.
Yeah.
The list.
But there's one big difference. The creature, whatever it is, I'm not going to spoil it. You get to read some chapters from its perspective, and it confuses you more, not less.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Basically, there's a killer whale like hunting down boats, and there's also pirates. There's a lot of plots coming together, but nothing is as it seems. And then they find people who are like they're melted, like partially melted people, like they were in someone, and like their bodies are disfiguring. And dude, it's so good. I swear to God, we gotta read it at some point. But
we will.
Hunters of the Dark Sea. My father read it to me as a child, and it made me afraid to go on a boat for a quick minute.
Like Moby Dick, written by Lovecraft on steroids, right?
Yeah, Moby Dick with Lovecraft, but with heroes and pirates as well, and a little bit of romance because it was 2003 when this came out. So,
hell yeah. Well, I think that concludes a successful book club, boys. Let's plan out another Lovecraft or maybe one of those other short stories, and we'll take it from there. But
absolutely.
Thanks for everybody listening.
I'm gonna toss out Roadside Picnic for the upteenth fucking time because that is a pretty short read.
Oh yeah.
Pretty quick read. Hold on. Actually, wait. Hold on.
But wait, there's more.
There's more. This one's a screamer.
Snaking his pants off again.
Yeah. We didn't get a super chat, but every man has his price.
Well, apparently YouTube listens, so finance. Millions of dollars. This is how you invest.
It is.
I'm very wealthy.
Keywords. Yes.
Keywords.
Success.
Look at that. You see how thin that is? Look at that.
Roadside Picnic. Yeah. Hell, even Justin could read that book.
Prime Russian Soviet era depression literature right here.
Nice. Kahuna, do you want to woo us out?
All right.
Just kidding.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been a new edition of the Iron Seas Book Club. We have read The Call of Cthulhu and heard the dark call of creatures from distant stars. Join us next time as we read Morning Star, other Lovecraft stories, and much, much more. Thank you for being here. Woo!